Hello everyone and welcome back to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and discussing the news that is just broke that David Ramsey is set to return to both direct and star in upcoming Arrowverse shows as John Diggle, so let's discuss. So yes, you heard that right, this isn't clickbait. John Diggle is officially returning to the Arrowverse, played by David Ramsey. This report comes to us from Deadline, and this is an exclusive breaking news article that has just come through. So let's discuss it. So, as I said, this comes from Deadline, so a very reputable source in Hollywood to do with movies and TV and stuff like that, and the article goes as follows. David Ramsey, aka John Diggle, will be busy both behind and in front of the camera for the CW. Ramsey, who most recently starred in Arrow as John Diggle / Spartan, will return to direct 5 episodes in the DC universe, including the new series Superman and Lois and Supergirl. Additionally, Ramsey will guest star in 5 episodes across the Arrowverse, returning as fan favourite John Diggle in Superman and Lois, Supergirl, The Flash, and Batwoman, along with a mystery role in DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which is being kept under wraps. Ramsey made his directorial debut on Arrow in 2018 and directed a second episode during the series' final season. So that's the information that Deadline has given us, so let's break it down. So this is basically confirming that John Diggle, David Ramsey as John Diggle, is returning to the Arrowverse across the entire Arrowverse, like across all the shows. So he's going to be directing 5 episodes of the Arrowverse. So he's going to be directing an episode of Superman and Lois, an episode of Supergirl, an episode of The Flash, an episode of Batwoman, and also an episode of Legends of Tomorrow. And then additionally, on top of that, he's going to be returning as John Diggle in those episodes, and he's going to be playing the character, so that's really, really exciting. So Diggle is coming back. He's returning to the Arrowverse, obviously not in a big way. He's not becoming a main character on any of the shows or anything like that, but he's going to be returning and making a big impact, as he's going to be in 5 different episodes of the Arrowverse this year, or this season, which I think is very, very exciting. Obviously, you guys know Arrow is my favourite show of all time. Diggle is probably the best character on Arrow. I adore Diggle. I adore David Ramsey, and I think as a director, I think he's really good. Like, he's directed 2 episodes of Arrow at this point, and they were really great episodes, both of them. And I think that he did a great job, really stepping up as a director in the last couple of seasons of Arrow. So to know that he's coming back to direct and star in these episodes is really exciting. So what's actually happening here? Like, what is Diggle doing, and what kind of role is he going to play in these episodes? Well, I think there's a lot of things we can look at. Obviously, when you look at where we last saw Diggle, I mean, technically we last saw him on The Flash, but, besides the point, last time we saw him on Arrow, he obviously was traveling to Metropolis with Lila and his kids, and then he was hit by a meteorite, which, of course, embossed within it was the Green Lantern ring, and we saw that John Diggle had basically now started his new path as a new hero. He's no longer Spartan, he's now a Green Lantern. So, what's going to happen in these episodes? Well, I guess the big question that everyone's going to be asking is Diggle going to be a Green Lantern now? Like, is he a Green Lantern in these episodes? Now, I honestly don't know about that. I mean, I think for a lot of it, I think he is just going to be Diggle. And it's interesting that he's returning across all the shows. Is this going to be a story arc? Like, is this going to be a thing that's going to be all in one week, and he's going to... Because that would be a lot of work. They can't all be in one week, because that would be too much work for David Ramsey to direct all 5 of the episodes. That wouldn't work. If they were all to debut on the same week, they'd have to film it in a weird order in order to make that happen. So, surely they can't all be in the same week, but then that's going to be really weird if just Diggle keeps popping up throughout the season across the different shows. And also, I find it weird that he's going to be making appearances on shows like Supergirl and Batwoman. Like, The Flash makes sense. Like, Diggle has been on The Flash many times before. He's very close with those characters. That makes sense. And Superman and Lois kind of makes sense story-wise, given the fact that he went to Metropolis at the end of Arrow, so that would make sense that he's going to be close to those characters. Literally in terms of distance-wise, he's going to be close to those characters, so that makes sense. But, like, Supergirl, he's not particularly close to any of the characters on Supergirl, so I don't really know how he'd be over there. And he's never met any of the characters in Batwoman outside of Kate Kane, who's obviously not even a part of Batwoman anymore. So it doesn't really make sense to be with those characters. And then Legends, he's going to be playing a mystery role. So it seems like he's not going to be playing John Diggle in the Legends episode. So what's actually happening here? I mean, I don't know. Like, is this like a story arc for Diggle, where he's going to be traveling across all the different shows to, perhaps start his journey to becoming a Green Lantern? I don't know. It's a very strange idea, and obviously this is all the detail we have. We don't know anything more than this. I'm sure we'll find out more as time goes on, but it's just very strange to me, because I'm trying to piece together what exactly is going on here with Diggle, and like why is he on all the shows? Because outside of the Flash and Superman and Lois, it doesn't really make sense for him to be on the other shows. So I'm kind of like, well, what's his story here? Also, what's key to mention is that it says in the article that he's going to be playing a mystery role in Legends of Tomorrow, so that tells me he's not going to be playing John Diggle, and given the fact that Legends is just so wacky and off the wall, I wouldn't be surprised if Diggle is just playing this random character who just shows up for like a really comedic bit. I could see that happening on Legends, but additionally, I could also see that perhaps this mystery role that he's playing on Legends, maybe he is just playing Diggle in all the other shows, and then on Legends he's playing Green Lantern. Like, I could see that happening, like, you know, as equally possible as it is for him just to be playing this one-off weird character on Legends, he could also be playing Green Lantern as a one-off. You know, Legends is kind of the show you could get away with that on. Like, he could kind of just come into Legends for one episode as Green Lantern, you know, as John Diggle Green Lantern or John Stewart or whatever, and do that episode, and then we never see him as Green Lantern again. And on Legends, you could get away with that. I don't know if they're going to do that. But, you know, with Legends, it does kind of make more sense for him to go to Legends because obviously he knows Sarah very well. But Sarah is also... We don't really know what's going on with Sarah next season because obviously last time we saw her, she was abducted by aliens and we don't know how long she's going to be away for the season. So it's all very, very confusing stuff. And I don't know what the actual story is here for Diggle. Why is he showing up on all the other shows? And what's this mystery role he's going to be playing on Legends? Also, what does this mean for the HBO Max series? Because obviously we know that we are getting that HBO Max Green Lantern show. There was a lot of speculation that perhaps David Ramsey was actually going to show up on that and potentially play the Green Lantern for, you know, maybe John Stewart or just playing John Diggle on that show. I never thought that was particularly likely. Like, I thought there was a chance, but I never thought it was particularly likely, especially because Mark Guggenheim, who was the showrunner and a writer on Arrow, is actually showrunning and writing the Green Lantern series, so there's connections there. I thought potentially there was a chance, but I never thought it was huge, just because I feel like this Green Lantern series and all the HBO Max shows are going to want to separate themselves from the Arrowverse a little bit. So I never thought that was a huge chance, but I think this kind of confirms that maybe we're not going to see that happen. I think that if we are going to get Green Lantern John Diggle, it's going to happen in this season of the Arrowverse. Like, it's going to show up in this season because it just makes too much sense. The last time we saw Diggle on Arrow before he left the show, before Arrow ended, he became the Green Lantern. We knew Diggle was going to return at some point, but we didn't know when or to what extent. So if we don't see Green Lantern within these 5 episodes, it's just going to be weird. It's just going to be bizarre. It's just going to be like, well, what's the point of doing that? You teased that he would become Green Lantern, then if you never show it, then what's the point? So I feel like he is going to become Green Lantern in this show, and I think this kind of eliminates the possibility of him showing up on the HBO Max series. I mean, not entirely. Like I said, there's connections there. I just don't know if that is the direction they want to push Diggle in when he has this sort of history with the Arrowverse. So, in conclusion, I know this video was just me just bambling on about stuff, but, I mean, my initial takeaway from all this is that I'm just incredibly hyped. You know, Arrow is my favourite show of all time. It just means so much to me. It's so special. And Diggle is such a character who is so close to my heart, so near and dear to me. So to know that he's coming back, to know that David Ramsey's coming back is really exciting. To know that he's coming back to direct is also really cool. He's directed some great episodes on Arrow. You know, the 2 that he's directed were great. So I'm really excited to see what he does there, especially because each show obviously has like a different flair and feel. So I'm interested to see how he's kind of going to delve into all of that. But the fact that he's returning to actually play John Diggle in these episodes is really exciting. I just can't wait to see what he's actually doing in these episodes, because at first I initially thought, is this maybe a crossover thing? But we kind of know that the crossover is going to be between Superman and Lois and Batwoman in this season, and that's the only crossover we're getting. It's like a mini one because of COVID. They're not really going to be able to do like a big scale crossover that they normally do. So because of COVID, they've had to sort of shrink it down to like a smaller scale thing. So it can't be a crossover thing. So I'm just confused as to what's actually happening here, and also where is Green Lantern going to show up? Is he going to be in just one of the random episodes, or is this the mystery role that's going to be in Legends of Tomorrow? Is that, because it says it's being kept under wraps, so is that the character that he's going to be playing, or is he just playing this other big DC character that we don't know about yet? I don't know, but there's a lot to be excited about. John Diggle's returning. What do you guys think? Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you excited to see Diggle return? And also, what are your theories? Let's get speculating down in the comments. Let's talk about it. What is happening with Diggle? When are we going to see Green Lantern? Where's he going to pop up? And what do you think Diggle's story is that's going to cause him to come back to the Arrowverse and to the superhero world? Make sure to let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, if you want to see more DC content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.